He's become the first monarch to reveal their tax bill. He's disclosed that he's paid 12.9 million for 24-25, putting him in the top 100 of UK taxpayers. I think it puts him at like 85, according to one of them. But that's not the only reason he's in the news. It's also been announced that the King and Queen won't be living at Buckingham Palace after all the renovations. Instead, they will remain in the nearby Clarence House, which is 200 odd yards up the road, up the Mall. Ben Lord is a royal expert and commentator. We'll hear from him in a second. I interviewed him just before we came on air. But do you think the royal family are good value for money? Give us a call on that, 0808 100 1049. Text me too if you like, 81333. Stick the word Leicester in at the beginning. Here's Ben.
Well, there's two key reports coming out of the royal household today. Firstly, it's the time of the year where the royal finances become public attention, where we have this conversation around the value of the royal family versus what they contribute by way of taxation. And then the second issue is that it's been confirmed that the King and Queen will not reside and live in Buckingham Palace and will continue to live in Clarence House, which indeed His Majesty has favoured and has lived in whilst he's been in central London. Even going back probably more than 20 years, he inherited Clarence House as a residence after his grandmother, her late Majesty the Queen Mother, passed away in 2002. So Clarence House has very much been his preferred choice of residence whilst he's been in central London. That seems to be continuing despite the fact that Buckingham Palace has undergone extensive renovations over the last 10 years.
There's a lot to unpack, isn't there? So we'll talk about the tax in a second. Let's just pick up on the whole Buckingham Palace thing. A lot of the headlines are saying that they are quitting the Buckingham Palace, but would I be? I was under the impression they never actually moved into it. I mean, other than I think it's extensively used, but they've not moved into it as a home because Clarence House is next door.
Yeah, exactly. Clarence House is just 200-300 yards down the Mall from Buckingham Palace. And ever since His Majesty ascended the throne almost 4 years ago, he has continued with his residential setup at Clarence House. He has not made the shift into Buckingham Palace completely, which I think that was probably done on the grounds of cost, but moreover convenience to what His and Her Majesty preferred to do.
It's interesting. I was looking at sort of one of those helpful online maps this morning that somebody had done, some sort of a graphic showing which sort of parts of Buckingham Palace, the years they've been built and all the rest of it. What struck me was that the bit that they live in, which is still, let's get it right, enormous and no doubt magnificent, is only a small part of the palace.
Buckingham Palace is vast. I mean, I've never been beyond the gates, despite being a royal commentator for many years, but it is a vast, vast space that really provides a great deal of the operational function of the royal family. You know, it hosts the offices of whether it's communications, arranging visits, the offices of the various members of the family would all be based in and around Buckingham Palace. So it very much is the kind of operational functional headquarters of the royal family, but it is of course where many of the official state visits are hosted, the state visits that occur from foreign leaders. It's where a lot of investiture ceremonies take place, in addition to Windsor Castle, for instance. So it is extremely well used. And of course, not forgetting that Buckingham Palace is open to the public as well, which has been an arrangement that's gone on pretty much since 1993, following the Windsor Castle fire, when Her late Majesty Queen Elizabeth II decided that she would open up Windsor Castle and Buckingham Palace and other royal residences to the public in order to help fund the repairs and restoration following the Windsor Castle fire. And indeed, that was the time that the Queen also took the decision to voluntarily elect to pay income tax. And that arrangement has remained now for 33 years, in that the monarch, who is exempt from paying any form of tax, she chose to do so to support the government making the decision to fund the repairs to Windsor Castle.
It's interesting, isn't it, that this in a sense is an extension of that, isn't it? Why do you think that the King has decided, and I don't think he's been compelled to do this, but why do you think he's sort of got ahead of the game by announcing how much he pays in tax?
I think this is his way of putting his mark on what his mother started. You know, the fact that a monarch has never had to pay tax under the constitution of this country is one thing. His mother voluntarily elected to do that in 1993 and did so up to her death. And I think this is his way of putting his mark on saying, not only am I continuing that, but transparently, here's the detail of that, and demonstrating just exactly how many millions that he is paying, to the point that he is now listed in the top 100 of taxpayers in this country to the Treasury.
When it would not be unreasonable, would it, to see? I mean, it is a fantastically huge amount of money, isn't it, to be paying tax of 12 odd million quid. The question we're asking on the show is are the royal family still value for money? What's your take on that?
Absolutely value for money. I mean, to be paying income tax, perhaps there is some capital gains tax if there's been any kind of property transactions that have taken place, but principally to be paying that amount of income tax, that means that there has to have been an overarching amount of income derived in the first place, which undoubtedly has originated from people flocking to Buckingham Palace, to Windsor Castle, to Sandringham Estate, wheresoever else that the royal residences are accessible to the public. And, you know, even if you go beyond that, the brand value that the royal family has for GB PLC on the world stage is just incredible. You only have to look at the state visit a couple of months ago to the United States and the warmth of reception that was provided by the Americans to the King and Queen. It just shows how iconic and unique they are in terms of brand value, and indeed what that means for us as taxpayers in terms of, for instance, the sovereign grant that's paid each year. You know, they clearly do a very hard-working job representing this country in all corners of the world.
There you go, Ben Lord. He is a royal expert and commentator with his thoughts on this. What's your thoughts, though? Good value for money, the royal family, or what? What do you think? 0808 100 1049. You can text too, if you like, 81333. Stick the word Leicester in at the beginning. We'll talk more about the kind of constitutional side of this transparency about the amount of tax being paid and all the rest of it. We'll talk about that in a second or two, but I want your thoughts on it. Are the royal family good value for money? 0808 100 1049. You're listening.